My pathological condition is type 2 diabetes, breaking the cycle. 2.9 million Americans have diabetes as of 2014. The two leading causes are obesity and genetics. This tells us two things. Genetics may play a role. However, even with a family history, you can avoid having type 2 diabetes by simply maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Also, obesity is a cause. This means without a family history, you are still at risk if you are obese. The dreaded scale. Obesity plays a huge role. We know this. As obesity becomes bigger and bigger of an epidemic in America, so does the growing number of type 2 diabetes. This was once considered an adult's disease. However, now children are developing this pathological condition younger and younger. I believe this is directly associated with the growing number of childhood obesity. Now childhood type 2 diabetes is considered an epidemic. Genetics. Knowing your family history is very important. Although anyone can develop type 2 diabetes, research proves that genetics also play a huge role. You cannot change your DNA, but by choosing a healthy lifestyle, you can avoid developing this deadly condition. So what is type 2 diabetes? Well, first it is very important to understand why we need glucose. Glucose is used to produce energy, otherwise known as ATP, which ultimately provides homeostasis of the body. In type 2 diabetes, the body becomes insulin resistant, which means it no longer is able to distribute or process glucose properly. The glucose then congests the blood, affecting the entire circulatory system and most organs. The effects include high blood pressure, stroke, infections, damaged blood vessels, and many other complications. Over time, these effects can be deadly. Early symptoms. The early symptoms of type 2 diabetes can actually be silent. This is why it is so very important to follow up with your primary care physician and have routine checkups. Some other early symptoms include extreme fatigue, hunger, and thirst, and of course, high blood sugar levels. Complications. The complications associated with type 2 diabetes can be very severe. Microvascular complications, so the smaller vascular system is directly affected. This includes eyesight. Also, it could be the leading end stage of renal disease. Diabetic neuropathy is also associated with type 2 diabetes, which is the leading cause of non-traumatic lower extremity amputations. Macrovascular complications include stroke, heart disease, and peripheral vascular disease. Treatment. Diet and exercise are key. The disease can not only be managed but totally prevented by taking care of your body. By eating a healthy diet and making sure to have a routine exercise, this condition can even be reversed. Also, doctor care is very important in the treatment. By following up with your doctor, you can learn how to manage your diet in a way that prevents high glucose levels in the blood. Getting educated is key, but following up is just as important. You should go in for routine blood work and also may even be able to test your blood regularly using a blood sugar monitor. This will help maintain healthy blood sugars. Medication. If the blood sugars are dangerously high, they may be managed with oral medication, or even an injectable medication such as synthetic insulin. Usually, though, you'll start with an oral medication, and if you're simply not managing your blood sugar, you may have to move on to that synthetic injectable insulin. Statistics and information. We've learned so far that a sedentary lifestyle can definitely contribute to type 2 diabetes, as well as a family tendency, but also people who are above 50 years old, there's more of a prevalence. High blood pressure and low energy are complications, but also could be factors in type 2 diabetes. Obesity, recurrent infections, polyuria, and polydipsia are all also factors. Type 2 diabetes statistics. 79 million people are pre-diabetic, even if they're undiagnosed. That number is astronomical. What's even more surprising to me is that by the year 2050, it is expected that 1 in 3 Americans will have diabetes. Prevention is key. We have the power to stop this growing epidemic, so why not start today? This is probably my favorite slide because it shows that there are simple ways that we can control or prevent type 2 diabetes. Monitoring your blood pressure and cholesterol, which is very easy. Management of your weight and BMI. With just a 30-minute activity program, you can reduce your chances. Eating a healthy diet, less fats, more fiber and whole grains, veggies and fruit, and lean meat. Of course, no smoking. These are things that we can control. For those who have already been diagnosed with diabetes or even pre-diabetic, the 7 C's of living with type 2 diabetes are extremely important. Control your diabetes. Go in for that blood work every 3 months, or even manage your diabetes by taking your own blood sugar levels at home. Control your blood pressure. Check yearly for cholesterol levels and foot and eye complications. Check your heart as advised. Change your lifestyle. Exercise, control your weight. It seems redundant, but this is probably the most important part of managing type 2 diabetes. Quit smoking and comply with medications as prescribed. Check yearly for diabetic kidney disease, and if you have diabetic kidney disease, save your kidneys from failure. Use your medicine as prescribed. I noted here that my references are mainly government websites besides Endocrine Web, which I found extremely credible. I would also like to mention that this is the reason I was calling this Break the Cycle. This is Angelina and her grandfather Frank, also her favorite person in the world. Frank passed away in his 50s due to complications of type 2 diabetes. Angelina's great-grandfather, grandfather, and father all have developed this condition. Angelina is the reason breaking the cycle is so important. Angelina has been educated about type 2 diabetes and at 14 years old is already committed to the prevention.